Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Be careful who you choose as your enemy, because that's who you become most like." And that is definitely the case when I look at Tyson Fury in the wake of his loss to Alexander Usyk. And what I mean by that is that although Alexander Usyk was the man who beat Tyson Fury, would you say he is the man who you would associate with him as an opponent? I mean, yes, over the last 2 years, but before that, it was always Fury and Wilder. Fury and Wilder, Fury and Wilder. That was really the trilogy fight that, in a way, it really did make both of them. You know, when Tyson Fury came back after his 2.5 year hiatus, it was straight into a Wilder fight. And that was the first real kind of significant traction Wilder got in his career, probably in the US as well. You know, he was known in the US, but in terms of, pay-per-views and stuff like that in a big event, it was really Fury. And again, it was Wilder who catapulted Tyson Fury to come back from 2.5 years out of the ring, drink, alcohol, weight loss, everything in the first fight. That kind of got Fury on many people's lips. And was there animosity between the two? Some would say that there was genuine animosity there, but then others would say it was maybe not that real. Who knows? But that's who you would primarily associate Tyson Fury with. And if we go back just over 4 years ago, February 2020, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder had their rematch. And it remains, at least in my opinion, I know some people would disagree and say it was the Klitschko fight, but in my opinion, that was the best I've ever seen Tyson Fury. He was perfect that night, or as close to as perfect as you can get. It was a brilliant display. He beat Deontay Wilder soundly. He beat him up, really. And he forced Team Wilder, Mark Breland, to throw in the towel. Now, what happened subsequently after that? In the ring, immediately after the fight, you had Wilder saying, he wasn't feeling the best. I think he said he was injured or something. You heard the excuse that the suit was too heavy. Mark Breland was kicked out of the team because he was a double agent and he'd been in cahoots with Team Fury. Fury had egg weights in his gloves. Now, a lot of these excuses, these were being peddled by the Wilder fanboys. Deontay Wilder went very quiet after that. He didn't really say much. And I think it was October, November 2020 he resurfaced. And, he was endorsing these excuses. He was pushing them then. And bear in mind, he had loads of time to come out and say something, but it was only months later, after all these ridiculous excuses came out. They used footage of the gloves in the first fight and claimed that they were defective, even though he never hurt Deontay Wilder at all, really, in the first fight. They said Mark Breland was a double agent. They said Kenny Bayless was in on it. They said Fury had an egg weight in his gloves, despite the fact Jay Deese, who's still a member of Team Wilder, he was in charge of overseeing the hand wrap, and that's a pretty big thing to miss, but yeah, he's still in Team Wilder. And he got rid of the one guy, Deontay Wilder, who actually cared about him, who actually had his best interest at heart, who actually wasn't a yes man, Mark Breland. And he brings in Malik Scott. And I think it's fair to say that that has not worked out best well. It certainly hasn't, and depending on how the result goes against Zhilei Zhang, I don't expect him to win, it could really not work out well. So Deontay Wilder started coming out with all these excuses, buying the excuses his fans were peddling. And us here on YouTube, the Fury fanboys, etc., the Joshua fanboys, we all kind of looked and said, what the hell are you doing? Can you not take the loss? And, the excuses were insane. The getting rid of Mark Breland, all that. Mark Breland saying that, you have to tread carefully when you're dealing with Deontay Wilder in camp because he doesn't want to know. He just wants the yes men. You hear that and you're just thinking, how are you ever going to succeed any further if you're not willing to take on board any criticism? How are you? If your technique is not right, how are you going to succeed if you're not willing to take on any criticism? That was Deontay Wilder, okay? Going into that fight, Tyson Fury had Sugar Hill Stewart. He was the main guy in the team. It looked like Team Fury was doing well. He had a great trainer in Sugar Hill Stewart. There was no reason as to why, Tyson Fury didn't cheat at all. He did not cheat in either Deontay Wilder fight. Those excuses that Wilder came up with were absolute horse something. Horse dung. And you fast forward a few years later, what does Tyson Fury have in his team? He still has Sugar Hill, but Sugar Hill, really, what kind of authority does he have in the team? You've got the likes of John Fury criticising him every chance he gets. Even when he's in the corner, giving good advice to his fighter, his voice is being drowned out by Tyson Fury. It has Andy Lee there saying you're winning the fight when he clearly isn't. He has all these yes men in his team which many of his fans, myself included, critique Deontay Wilder for. So much so that it's not even the fact that, and Wilder I think has done this in the past where he's, not wanted certain media guys interviewing him because they ask tough questions. The slightest hint of criticism, Tyson Fury doesn't want to know. TalkSport can't do this because they're one of Fury's biggest cheerleaders, but the slight bit of criticism, no, you can't come to a fight. They don't want to know. He has all these clingers on. The Garrett A. Davises, the Isaac Lowe's, all those yes men. Oh, Tyson's brilliant, no matter what he does, it's perfect. How is he ever going to improve? How is he ever going to improve going into this rematch if he can't take criticism on board? So Wilder had all these yes men in his team all those years. He still has them now. And now it's Tyson Fury. Immediately after his loss to Tyson Fury in the rematch, he's coming out with all these ridiculous excuses. What's Tyson Fury saying? Alexander Usyk got the decision because of the conflict in his country? Really? And that's a pretty low one. I mean, for Deontay Wilder to come out with excuses, and I know you could say he is, you could argue that it's a defamation of character to say Tyson Fury cheated and this, that, and the other. Yeah, 100%. But to say that Alexander Usyk only got the decision out of sympathy because of what's going on in his country, in spite of the fact that he very nearly got robbed against Anthony Joshua because one judge scored it in favour of Joshua, and that was height of, what going on in his country. They didn't try and do it then. Lomachenko, being from Ukraine against Devin Haney, no sympathy for him there. One judge, one of the most clear rounds Lomachenko won in that fight, one of the judges gave to Devin Haney. So where's the sympathy there? And then you have the likes of Isaac Low IQ, when Alexander Usyk was kissing a crucifix during rounds. I think it was between rounds 7 to 8, saying that doesn't look like a cross. You've his fans saying that he was using an illegal inhaler. What? How this has changed is quite astonishing. I mean, it really is. He's become his enemy, if you think about it. The things that Wilder was saying and doing 4 years ago, well, you look at Fury and it's really him now. It's quite incredible, really. And has that helped Deontay Wilder? No. The man has lost 3 of his last 4 fights. He now has no killer instinct to speak of. And in the trilogy fight, well, he was handled, even though it was a better fight and it was more competitive, you could say he took a longer, sustained, more devastating beat. And there was no real improvement there. The only difference is that Deontay Wilder, there wasn't that much of an improvement. It was just Fury was worse in the trilogy fight. And he's going into a rematch with Alexander Usyk, and he's literally copying what Deontay Wilder was doing in terms of all the wrong things. Not having people in his team who are going to be real with him and tell him up front, Tyson, this ain't working. I mean, Andy Lee, who is a good coach, I rate Andy Lee. You're going to be talking over Sugar Hill Stewart, who I'm sure you know very well, and trying to say that Tyson Fury is winning the fight. What? You got to keep your fighter real. You got to be real with your fighter and say, listen, we need these rounds. Because if you're in a fight that's competitive and that's close, and you're winning, you're winning clearly. Well, the fighter might think, I'm winning these rounds clearly. Oh, what, I lost? How did that happen? Because it was a very close fight. And in Fury Usyk situation, it wasn't a close fight. The fact of the matter is Andy Lee is saying you're winning. John Fury in his team, and the one guy who really is there to really tell Tyson this is how it's going to be, Sugar Hill Stewart, is being undermined. And with Wilder, he got rid of the one guy. He got rid of Mark Breland. And now he has Malik Scott and JD's full time. I mean, it's not turning out to be a Michelin starred recipe, is it? It's far from it. And I think Fury's going down the same road. It really, when you look at it as a whole, it's really quite similar. 4 years later, Fury has all the yes men around him, or at least at the time of recording he still does. Maybe he won't, maybe he will. Because Fury, for all his flaws, he isn't as deluded as Deontay Wilder. He is more feet on the ground to an extent than Deontay Wilder. He's smarter than Deontay Wilder, end of. He is much smarter. And I think with Fury, there has to come a point where he has to have a look at things and assess things and say, do you know what? Things do need to change. And me bringing in these yes men, it's not doing anything. It's arguably hindering him, and I think he'd be smart enough to realise that. He needs to change it. Having all these clingers on, all these yes men, what good is it? When you have Isaac Lowe trying to make excuses and say, like, oh, that's not a cross, Usyk is kissing. But what the hell is it then? You're hardly going to be able to smuggle inhalers to ringside, are you? There are plenty of fighters who have asthma. What do they do? You know, oh yeah, a break between rounds. Psst, there you go, I'm good to go. Ah yeah, we all missed that. Yeah, well done. That's my thoughts on it. It's an interesting one to look at when you think about it, because it is very similar. It's Wilder 4 years ago is now Fury now. He has become his enemy. So maybe Nisha was onto something. Maybe he was. Maybe he was. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll leave it there, people. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It'd be very interesting to read this one. So let me know your thoughts. I'll leave it there. Peace.